As it's written, I'm Mathieu Poissard, Head of Marketing at Mergify, and I'm very glad to be here today with you to speak about developer experience. First, I will just quickly introduce you to Mergify to better understand why we are kind of legitimate to speak about this topic. So Mergify is a dev tool combining two main features, the merge queue and the workflow automation, and we help developers in their everyday life with one aim: let them code. So we really see ourselves as real contributors to developer experience. With that being said, let's get to the heart of the matter, the developer experience, and we will see together why it's becoming a new challenge for software companies. But first, we need to know what is DevX. So DevX, or DX, stands for developer experience. Rather than giving you a boring definition, I will take you with me on a journey to understand what is DevX. Are you okay with that? It will be short. To be honest, oh, there is a bug. We will follow Dave during his journey. Dave is a software developer. He's looking quite good when he's not glitching. Today, he's starting a new journey since he needs to create a new feature. So he will look for tools or solutions to help him manage his job. According to the DevRel book, the developer's journey is composed of 5 steps. 1, discover, evaluate, learn, build, and scale. But since we are speaking about developer experience, we won't talk about the first and the last ones. But for the remaining ones, so the 2, 3, and 4, we will see what are the touch points the developers can have with your product and your company. And that's what we are calling developer experience. So, I don't know why there is some bugs. First, it will evaluate all the solutions, the options he found during the discovery. Nice. And I don't find my mouse. Sorry, I will just disconnect and reconnect. That's the direct, the live. Are you common with developer experience? While I'm struggling to connect myself. So without the support, during the first step, during his evaluating step, he will just check a lot of information about your product and your company. First, the web pages, just like home, product pages, and also pricing, just to know if the budget fits with the price of your product. Then it will look to your documentation. It's really important to have a good one. And maybe your FAQs, just to understand what kind of problem it can solve with your product. You can also check some external information, such as threads in forums, use cases, maybe from your customers, or even some videos, such as replays of webinars. And I think it's working. It's quite slow. I don't have a good internet connection, but that's it. We are here. We are. Sorry for that. Up. I don't know why it's bugging. I'm so sorry. Maybe it will be better right now. Finger crossed. And we will be able to dive into the second step. Yeah. 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 Whew. So now he wants to learn how your product works. So he will dive into your quick start guide, check some code samples, read or watch some tutorials, and a good thing is to make both I mean some kind of articles, because some people love to read and others prefer to watch some videos. And it can even sign up to your product. That's your goal. And to make it even more easy to, to sign up, you have to make it free without credit card. That's a good point to avoid friction. And the final step, the building one, you want to go from practice to theory to practice, and you want to build something to try your product. So it will reach your sandbox, it will play with the product and try it. It will check your reference guide. It's a condensed information 1 or 2 pages on how use your product. It will check if you have some extensions or integrations, and also your changelog. This last one gives a lot of information about your product, your company, and your team. What's new, how often do you release new features, or how fast can you fix something. So, to summarize, DevX, or developer experience, is all the internal touch points a developer will have with your product and your company. It's all about easing it and make the product adoption easier. But it's not really complete, because I just explained you what user developer experience is. Developer experience is more global. There are 2 facets, 2 dimensions. The external one I just presented you, but also another one which is more internal. It's about your own team and make the developers inside your company happy and productive. So when it comes to developer experience, think global and not only intern or external, because most of the time they are quite related and correlated. So it's okay for the definition and understand what DevX is. And now we'll see why it's really important, and we will see what are the threats hanging over your head if you're not focusing on improve your developer experience, and what benefit you can also expect from a good developer experience. So let's start with the bad news. About your own team, if you have a really bad developer experience, the first threat is to see your best developers just quit the company. And there are many trends that are easing that. The first one, the full remote. Now, some company on the other side of the planet can just approach your developer and try to hire them. There is the big quit. It started in the US, but it's becoming quite global. It's something, I guess, a little bit from our generation. We want our jobs to meet our aspiration. And if it doesn't match, we will just quit our job. And the developer can do that because they are in a strength position, because they know that their job market is very tight, and they will find another job really, very quickly. On a more technical level, if you don't give good tools, good process, and you don't work on the developer experience of your team, you won't be able to ship great quality code really fast. So you'll have to make a trade-off between ship slower than ever or accept poor quality code. About the user developer experience, if you have a bad DevX, you'll make their journey more complex. And it's already really complex. They want it to be as easy as possible. So if it's too complex, you will curb your product adoption, and your revenue will follow this trend. They will reduce. It can also lead to internal issues, because developers are quite sensitive to the reputation of the company, and they don't want to work for a company with a really bad reputation. And if they accept to work for you, if you are bad at DevX, they will ask for a lot of money. But since your revenue are decreasing, it will be quite hard for you to give them that amount of money. Are you okay? Not so scared, I hope. I have some good news, do not worry. We will see what benefits you can get, and they are even better than all these traits. So if you're good on DevX for your own team, you will reduce bugs and errors. Thanks to automation, good process, and good tools, you will be able to ship great quality code in a secure way, and so it will reduce it. You will also accelerate the onboarding of newcomers thanks to a good documentation. They will understand what you're doing. You have also to make good and wise technology choice to make it fit with their knowledge and their skills. You will make your people happy and loyal, but also more productive by increasing the developer velocity. And you will see your revenue skyrocket. And I will prove that with a nice survey from McKinsey. It's not a good name in French right now. So the benefits about a good end-user developer experience, you will see your product being massively adopted in a viral way, maybe even more viral than the COVID without all the sanitary issues. And you will see also your revenues skyrocket because it will follow the trend. And in fact, that's what we are calling the product-led growth companies. There are more and more companies like that, and that's what we are at Mergify. So to prove what I was saying, there is this survey from this company, which shows that companies in the top quartile of the developer velocity index outperform others in the market by 4 to 5 times. It means that you should focus on the developer velocity. It's how fast your developers get the job done and meet the milestone. And you should make it as high as possible. And to do that, you have to focus on 4 areas: the tools, the culture, the talent management, but also the product management. If you have a dozen minutes, it's worth the read. And you have all the links in the presentation. So, do you feel better now? You have something to gain from a good developer experience. And I guess you all have one question in mind now. How can I improve the developer experience? So I gave you some piece of advice before, but we will share some of our best practices we have in Mergify, and I hope it will be useful for you. But the first question you have to get in mind is how to make developers happy. There is another survey. This one is from Stack Overflow, and it was focused on the criteria that make developers happy or unhappy. At the first place, we have to give them a good work-life balance. That's quite true even for other people than developers. Same thing for the salary, the paycheck. They want a fair salary. In fact, nobody wants to work for free, I guess. And between these two criteria, something really interesting is being productive. That's what we will mostly focus on this last part of my presentation. To summarize, and sorry for the shortcut, but a happy developer is a productive developer. And how to make them productive? We compiled our best practices in 3 main categories: compliance, technology, and the human part. About compliance, we come back to the documentation. You have to perfect it and make it as perfect as possible. It's the first touch point the developers will have with your technological assets. And it's true whether they are employees or users. For your employees, it will ease the onboarding. And for your end users, it will ease the adoption of the product. You can also make quality assurance continuous. I mean, you should prioritize and automate quality assurance into every stage of the development to ship great code really fast. And so it will increase the productivity of your own team. It will make them really proud because they will see the impact of their work. And it will also increase the confidence of the users because they will see your product as something really secure. About the technology part, you should use the right tools. In fact, nobody wants to dig a hole with a pen. So give the right tools to your employees. It will ease their daily life. And when it comes to the product, for your users, if you need to integrate some tools, for example, into your solution, you should bet on robust and widely spread tools because they are known and the users will be used to this kind of tools. When it comes to the technology stack, you have to choose it really wisely. It will streamline and optimizes all kinds of tasks for your own team, and it will fit with the skills and knowledges of your users. Finally, you should accommodate languages and styles. So it's true for the employees and the users. And it can take the form of pre-packaged code with documented examples of usage for each language and architecture. Since we are quite close to Christmas, I have a little gift for you. Some cool tools we use at Mergify. So the list is neither exhaustive nor totally objective, since we love this. But let's go. So if you're looking for a good code linter, we love Prettier. When it comes to unit testing suites, we use NUnit and Mocha. About end-to-end testing tools, it's TestRigor that we use. Obviously, we are fully integrated to GitHub, so we use GitHub Action when it comes to CI/CD tools. And the last but not the least, little promotional time. If you want to optimize a code merging process, you can use Mergify to reach continuous merge. And we are the first users of our product. That's a good thing, a good hint, I guess, if you want to know if your product is good or not. Finally, the last part. This advice can look quite obvious, but it's not always a common sense because we meet a lot of companies, and we saw sometimes things quite weird. But you should keep your developers focused on their task. So for your own team, you should avoid unnecessary calls or meetings because most of developers just hate them. And when it comes to the product, so the end users, you should make it fully integrated. I mean, use your product should not be something complicated. You don't have to switch tabs or windows to use it. It's a great thing to make it fully integrated. You can also infuse a communication culture inside your company and make people aware of any change by just saying it. When I'm making a change, say it to your colleagues. And for your end users, you can make it through beautiful and complete change logs. And finally, you should encourage collaboration. We saw so many companies where developers were fighting each other to see their pull requests or their commits merge first, and they are quite struggling with this. We want the developers to be real teammates and work together, so you can maybe just push some pair programming or hackathon. It's a great thing to create bonds. And about the end-user developer experience, you can provide a premium support, but also create a community support. For example, we just launched a Slack community where every Mergify users can come and speak with each other, share knowledge, tips, best practices, and ask the question they have. I guess I said everything I wanted to say about developer experience. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope it was useful for you. I will do my best to answer your question now.
Thanks a lot. Great talks. So is there any question? Yes.
I'm very interested on that matter, and I was believing that you might have some measurements on the developer experience, you know, some metrics to measure the progress on some, you know, on that area. Oh, okay, yeah. Something I just presented, it was the developer velocity index. That's something quite cool from this survey, but it depends on what kind of developer experience you will focus on. It depends, it's your own team, so you can just have a human talk, how the people feel about the company, their work, are they proud, I don't know, maybe can they see the impact of their work? That's something really important for the people. They have to feel fulfilled with their work, and so you have to speak with them to communicate a lot. when it comes to the end user one, most of the time the KPI will be business KPI. Because if your developer experience is quite good, you will see your product being adopted a lot. I mean, and you can also ask your customer, why did you choose this product over others? And just try to find the axis of improvement on each touch point you can have with developers. But I will add some KPI next time, some metrics.
Thank you. So, do you have any recommendation? Because we have to manage developer experience in our company. Do you have recommendation? Do we need to send them like once a month a question, some question about what do you feel about this, and what should we improve? This kind of questionnaire.
Yeah. I don't really know survey. It's a great thing to do, and you have plenty of solutions right now to make it full digital and really easy to manage. In the previous experiences, I put in place some kind of action like this, just to know how the people feel about their work, the company, but also the collaboration with the other people inside the company, because they are part of the team. So you have to feel a real solidarity.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. How do you manage when the team is full remote all the times? Meaning, I'll give an example. Long time ago, I was program manager for AT&T, running out the network in 60 countries. I never met 99% of the people of the team. Never.
Yeah. I guess when you have big teams, the good thing to do is to create small teams, real bonds between people in smaller teams. Not want to have a big team with all the people friends with each other. It's quite impossible. But try to make the people create bonds into smaller team. We are a full remote company at Mergify, so I can feel your your question. But we meet every day. For example, Hugo is right there, and we make a video every day. So we create a bond. We know what we are doing. How do we feel about the day before and the day after? So we just communicate. In fact, we have to take time to communicate. And maybe that's the best thing to do. And you have to use the right tools also. For real. For example, I don't know, Zoom, we are quite happy with that, but maybe there are even better tools. For now, it's okay for us, but at some time, maybe we'll check for something else. It's continuous improvement. Just feel the pain points, and when you spot one, try to improve it.
And sometimes you can add some creativity, like using a new tool like GatherTurn, something like very creative to change the daily life.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works to change the mind.
Yeah, true. It's a new experience. Mm.